They were the kind of couple people envy. Claire Benson and Evan Rhodes had the sort of relationship that seemed plucked from a romantic drama. Intimate Instagram posts, couples hikes in Oregon's lush backwoods, lazy Sundays with their golden retriever, Toby. From the outside looking in, their life in the quiet town of Ashland, Oregon looked like the American dream. Claire, a 28-year-old middle school art teacher, was known for her warm spirit and creativity. Evan, a 34-year-old freelance web developer, worked from home and seemed reserved but kind. They met on a dating app in 2020, moved in together less than a year later, and by early 2023, everyone around them thought they were headed toward engagement. But all of that changed on March 11, 2023, when Claire made a discovery in their shared bathroom that would fracture her world forever. It started innocently enough. Claire had the weekend off and decided to deep clean their home. While wiping down the bathroom mirror, she noticed something unusual. A small red, no larger than a pinhead, blinking faintly near the edge of the glass. At first, she assumed it was a reflection. But when she leaned in closer and tapped the mirror, she felt it shift slightly under her fingertips. It wasn't properly mounted. Her curiosity turned to dread as she gently pried the mirror from the wall, revealing a small black lens tucked into the drywall. A hidden camera. Claire's heart stopped. According to the transcript of her 911 call, she was barely able to form the words, "There's a camera in my bathroom. I think my boyfriend's been spying on me." Her voice, captured on the dispatch recording, cracked under the weight of realization. Ashland police arrived within 15 minutes. Claire let them inside, shaken and pale. The investigation quickly escalated from a domestic disturbance to a full-scale search. What police found that day horrified them. Hidden cameras, 14 in total, were discovered throughout the house. Embedded in air vents, tucked behind picture frames, hidden in the base of the lamp by Claire's side of the bed. One camera was concealed inside a plush teddy bear Evan had given her on their second Valentine's Day together. Each camera was wired to a hidden server located beneath the house, accessed through a false panel in the hallway closet. When police pried open the dusty crawlspace, they found a small black box, humming quietly, its hard drives warm to the touch. Evan Rhodes, however, was nowhere to be found. According to surveillance footage, he had visited a nearby gas station that afternoon to buy coffee and snacks. He smiled at the cashier. He chatted briefly about the weather. Then he got into his car and vanished. The next morning, police found the car abandoned on the side of Highway 66. The engine was cold. The keys were on the seat. No fingerprints other than Evan's. No note. No sign of struggle. Claire, meanwhile, had to confront the chilling reality that the man she loved had been secretly recording her for nearly 2 years. When authorities reviewed the contents of the hard drives, they uncovered hundreds of hours of footage, video files meticulously labeled and organized. Claire brushing teeth, 7 a.m. Claire crying March 2nd. Claire sleeping, 3:12 a.m. It was clear Evan had been documenting her life in obsessive detail. But the nightmare didn't end there. Tucked in a hidden folder labeled simply Project E, investigators found recordings of at least 6 other women. Different homes, different towns, same setup. Cameras placed strategically in private areas. Bedrooms, bathrooms, changing rooms. The timestamps on these files spanned nearly a decade. One dated all the way back to 2014. The FBI was brought in. A deeper background check on Evan Rhodes revealed a sealed juvenile record. At age 14, Evan had been institutionalized after the disappearance of his foster sister, 10-year-old Mallory Crane. According to social services documents later obtained by the press, Evan had displayed disturbing, obsessive behavior, including drawings of Mallory sleeping and written protection rituals to keep her safe. She was never found. The case went cold. No charges were filed. As investigators dug deeper into the server found in Evan's home, they uncovered a directory of meticulously cataloged files. Not just video footage but photos, journal entries, and transcriptions. There was a particularly chilling folder titled Subjects. Status. Inside were profiles of women, names, locations, routines, habits. Most had no connection to Evan. One had gone missing in Eugene, Oregon in 2017. Another had filed a stalking report in Boise, Idaho. But the most disturbing discovery came from beneath the house. In the far corner of the crawlspace, hidden behind loose insulation, detectives found a rusted lockbox. Inside were printed photographs, cassette tapes, and newspaper clippings. Some photos were of Claire. Some were of women no one could identify. But one stood out. A Polaroid of a young woman, tied to a chair, her mouth duct-taped, eyes wide with terror. Standing behind her, smiling calmly, was Evan Rhodes. The identity of the woman remains unknown. No missing person matched her appearance. Claire broke down. According to her medical records, she checked herself into a psychiatric facility less than 3 weeks later, suffering from what doctors labeled acute surveillance trauma. She reported waking up each night, convinced she was still being watched. "How do you live?" she later said in an interview. "Knowing you were content in someone else's collection, that every kiss, every laugh, was being recorded." The public response was swift and horrified. Social media lit up with theories and speculation. Hashtag Project E trended for days. Some called Evan a serial predator. Others suspected a larger network at play. Meanwhile, the FBI issued a nationwide manhunt. Multiple unconfirmed sightings of Evan Rhodes trickled in from Spokane, Denver, even Salt Lake City. In each case, he vanished before police could respond. And then, a new twist. On September 29th, the Ashland Police Department received an unmarked envelope containing a USB drive. No fingerprints. No return address. The drive contained a single file. A silent video of Claire's new apartment, recorded from outside her bedroom window. The timestamp? 2 nights prior. As the grainy footage ends, a digitally altered voice speaks. "I told you I'd always protect you." Claire was immediately relocated to a secure location under federal watch. But the incident raised terrifying questions. Was Evan back? Had he been watching all along? Or was someone else continuing his work? The final blow came just days ago, when a news station in Salt Lake City received its own anonymous package. Inside was another USB, another video, this one, 37 minutes long, showing the interior of a young woman's apartment. She has not yet been identified, but in the video, the camera slowly pans toward a bedroom mirror, where a faint red light flickers, exactly like the one Claire first saw. The file was labeled Claire 2.0. As of today, Evan Rhodes remains at large. The FBI believes he may be using a network of aliases and possibly dark web forums to share or sell his footage. Whether he's acting alone, or whether there are others like him, remains a chilling unknown. This case is far from over, and someone somewhere may be watching right now. They thought she was safe. After the footage labeled Claire 2.0 surfaced, Claire Benson was whisked into federal protective custody. The FBI placed her in a safe house 3 states away, her location known to only 3 agents. But the questions remained. How did someone find her again? And who was the woman in the new video? The investigation ramped up. Federal agents pored over every second of the 37-minute video. No identifiable landmarks. No license plates. The woman in the video, brunette, early 30s, athletic build, never looked toward the camera. She was in her home, alone, unaware. The timestamp indicated the footage had been taken just a week prior, possibly within hours of the video being mailed. The FBI released an image from the video to the public, carefully blurring out the woman's face to protect her identity. Within 48 hours, a tip came in. A neighbor from Missoula, Montana, claimed to recognize the apartment. The location matched. The woman's name was Hannah Markell, a local yoga instructor who often posted live streams from her home studio. Agents arrived at Hannah's residence early the next morning. They knocked. No answer. Her car was in the driveway. Mail still in the box. The door was locked from the inside. When police forced entry, they found the apartment undisturbed, except for one chilling detail. The mirror in her bedroom had been removed. In its place was a crude note scrawled in red ink. "You're watching the wrong people." There was no sign of Hannah Markel. What began as a voyeurism case had now turned into a full-blown missing person investigation, possibly linked to a serial predator. The media exploded. Hashtags trended globally. Everyone asked the same question: is Evan Rhodes still out there? Meanwhile, back in Ashland, Oregon, local journalist Nathan Kessler was digging deeper than the FBI. A tenacious investigative podcaster, Kessler had begun piecing together a disturbing pattern of missing persons cases, dating back over a decade. The thread that tied them together? Surveillance. In 2015, a woman in Bellingham, Washington disappeared after filing a restraining order against a man who had sent her an anonymous USB of herself sleeping. The case was dismissed. In 2018, a Portland grad student named Eliza Moore vanished after telling campus security that she believed her apartment had been bugged. And in 2021, a Montana bartender named Rachel Duvall vanished 2 weeks after a hidden GoPro was found in her changing room. Each woman had no known connection to the others. Until Kessler unearthed one common detail: each had posted content to a small, obscure video platform called Etherframe, known for its unregulated privacy policies. Kessler went further. He managed to track down a former Etherframe employee who agreed to speak under anonymity. The whistleblower claimed the platform had once received an inquiry from a user whose IP was flagged for uploading non-consensual surveillance material. The inquiry was closed internally after the user threatened to expose the company's handling of underage data. The username? Project_E. With the FBI now working alongside cybercrime units, agents traced digital fingerprints from the USB drives. Despite advanced masking, one tiny metadata slip remained: a timestamp that matched an upload from a coffee shop in Spokane, Washington. Investigators swarmed the cafe's security footage from that date and time, and they got their first real break. A man, face obscured by a hoodie and surgical mask, appeared on the camera. But what gave him away wasn't his face. It was the tattoo on his wrist, visible for only 3 seconds as he reached for his coffee. A small Ouroboros, the ancient symbol of a snake eating its own tail. Claire had seen that tattoo before, on Evan's right wrist. From here, the story fractures into unsettling threads. A manhunt swept across Spokane, but Evan was gone again before the tip could go public. What police found instead was darker: an abandoned storage unit in Evan's name. Inside were plastic bins full of electronics, labeled meticulously: Claire Entry AV, Mallory Crane Archive, Eliza Moore, 2018, Subject X in progress. Among the bins, agents discovered spiral notebooks filled with obsessions, dates, thoughts, fragmented diary entries written in a mix of block print and coded shorthand. One chilling entry read: "She thinks she's free. Claire thinks I'm gone. But the archive never ends. What I've built can't be undone." And another, darker one: "Markel, Stage 2. Extraction prep in place. Mirror left intentionally." But the most haunting discovery was the final page of a notebook titled "The Guardian's Code." It read like a manifesto: "Some must be watched to be protected. Eyes are safety. Eyes are truth. I see them. I save them." That phrase, "I see them. I save them," was found repeated across all of Evan's digital profiles. To him, surveillance wasn't just power. It was purpose. But then came the twist. DNA found in the Spokane storage unit contained a match, but not to Evan Rhodes. Instead, it belonged to a man named Julian Crane, age 39, presumed dead in 2004. Julian was Mallory Crane's biological brother. He had vanished shortly after Mallory's disappearance and was declared legally dead in 2010. But his DNA on the notebooks, alongside Evan's own fingerprints, suggested something disturbing: the possibility that Evan hadn't acted alone, or worse, that Evan had assumed Julian's identity. In a press briefing, FBI agent Marla Trevor stated, "We are now operating under the assumption that Evan Rhodes may have had an accomplice, or may have adopted the identity of a person long believed dead. We cannot confirm whether Julian Crane is still alive, or if he and Evan are the same individual." The idea that this case could involve two predators sent shockwaves through the investigation. Meanwhile, no trace of Hannah Markel has ever been found. The final and most terrifying chapter in this story comes from an interview with Claire, recorded 3 weeks ago, before she was moved again. In a quiet, shaken voice, she said, "He used to tell me he was always looking out for me, that I never had to worry, because he saw everything. I thought it was romantic. But now, when I close my eyes, I swear I still hear the faint click of a camera lens. Even here, even now, what if it's not over?" Then she added something that investigators haven't publicly confirmed. "2 nights ago, I woke up and the mirror was gone, and there was a red dot on my ceiling. As of today, Claire's location remains classified. And just this morning, a small radio station in Billings, Montana received a padded envelope with no return address. Inside, a single USB drive, and a note, subject _ extraction complete. To be continued."